Canberra ground, Cathay 5383 heavy, ready for pushback. Canberra ground, Qantas 2727, ready for pushback. Canberra ground, November 36 Delta Papa, ready for pushback. Cathay 5383 heavy, pushback approved. Pushback approved. Cathay 5383 heavy. November 36 Delta Papa, pushback approved. Expect runway 30. Pushback approved. November 36 Delta Papa. Canberra ground, November 36 Delta Papa, ready to taxi. Canberra ground, Qantas 2727, ready for pushback. November 36 Delta Papa, taxi to runway 30, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 30, November 36 Delta Papa. Qantas 2727, pushback approved. Expect runway 30. Pushback approved. Qantas 2727. Canberra ground, Qantas 2727, ready to taxi. Qantas 2727, taxi to runway 30, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 30, Qantas 2727. Canberra ground, Cathay 5383 heavy, ready to taxi to runway 35. Cathay 5383 heavy, taxi to runway 35, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 35, Cathay 5383 heavy. Qantas 2727, request permission to cross runway 35. November 36 Delta Papa, give way to aircraft on your right. Give way to aircraft. November 36 Delta Papa. Cathay 5383 heavy, request permission to cross runway 17. Qantas 2727, cross runway 35. Crossing runway 35, Qantas 2727. Cathay 5383 heavy, request permission to cross runway 17. Cathay 5383 heavy, cross runway 17. Crossing runway 17, Cathay 5383 heavy. November 36 Delta Papa, cross runway 35. Crossing runway 35, November 36 Delta Papa. Canberra ground, Mexicana 1, ready for pushback. Mexicana 1, pushback approved. Expect runway 35. Pushback approved. Mexicana 1. Cathay 5383 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 30. Cathay 5383 Heavy, hold short of runway 12. Hold short of runway 12. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Cathay 5383 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 17. Cathay 5383 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 12. Cathay 5383 Heavy, please wait for clearance before crossing the runway. Cathay 5383 Heavy, cross runway 12. Crossing runway 12, Cathay 5383 Heavy. Canberra ground, Qantas 740 Heavy, ready for pushback. November 36 Delta Papa, contact Canberra Tower on 118.7. Canberra ground, Mexicana 1, ready to taxi to runway 35. Contacting Canberra Tower on 118.7, November 36 Delta Papa. Mexicana 1, taxi to runway 35, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 35, Mexicana 1. Qantas 740 Heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 35. Pushback approved. Qantas 740 Heavy. Cathay 5383 Heavy, request frequency change. Cathay 5383 Heavy, taxi to runway 35, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 35, Cathay 5383 Heavy. Mexicana 1, runway 35, cleared for immediate takeoff. Thank you, good day. November 36 Delta Papa, cleared for takeoff, runway 35, Mexicana 1. Canberra Tower, Cathay 5383 Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 35, remaining in the pattern. Cathay 5383 Heavy, line up and wait runway 35. Line up and wait runway 35, Cathay 5383 Heavy. Canberra Tower, Cathay 5383 Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 35, departing north. Cathay 5383 Heavy, runway 35, cleared for immediate takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 35, Cathay 5383 Heavy. Thank you, good day, Cathay 5383 Heavy. Janix 101, is on right base runway 35. Janix 101, roger. November 617 Kilo Charlie, runway 30, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 30, November 617 Kilo Charlie. Thank you, good day, November 617 Kilo Charlie. PH0307, runway 35, cleared for takeoff. Janux 101, is on final runway 35, cleared for takeoff, runway 35, PH0307. Canberra Tower, Janux 101 is 7 nautical miles to the south at 5,700 feet, inbound for landing. November 617 Kilo Charlie, request frequency change. Janux 101, number 1, runway 35, clear to land. Number 1, clear to land, runway 35, Janux 101. November 617 Kilo Charlie, frequency change approved, good day. Frequency change approved. November 617 Kilo Charlie, good day. Janux 101, when able turn left and contact ground, please expedite. Wilco, Janux 101. Cathay 5383 Heavy is 21 nautical miles southwest of Mittagong at 22,000 feet, requesting flight following to Sydney Kingsford. Cathay 5383 Heavy, proceed on course to Sydney Kingsford. Cathay 5383 Heavy, proceed on course to Sydney Kingsford. Proceed on course. Cathay 5383 Heavy. November 613 Sierra Foxtrot, request frequency change. Cathay 5383 Heavy, descend and maintain 10,000. Descend and maintain 10,000. Cathay 5383 Heavy. November 613 Sierra Foxtrot is 4 nautical miles northwest of Sydney Kingsford at 2,200 feet. Flying VFR. November 613 Sierra Foxtrot. Roger. Proceed on course. Proceed on course. November 613 Sierra Foxtrot. Cathay 5383 Heavy, descend and maintain 8,000. Tango Victor 1984 Heavy is 10 nautical miles south of Somersby at 11,000 feet, requesting GPS approach runway 30 at Bankstown. Descend and maintain 8,000. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Cathay 5383 Heavy, turn right heading 090. November 306 Mike Delta is 3 nautical miles northeast of Mittagong at 12,700 feet, requesting Isles approach runway 35 at Canberra. Turn right heading 090. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Tango Victor 1984 Heavy, resume own navigation. November 306 Mike Delta, turn right heading 030, descend and maintain 5,000. Mexicana 1 is 13 nautical miles southeast of Wollongong at 35,700 feet, requesting Isles approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford. Turn right heading 030, descend and maintain 5,000. November 306 Mike Delta. Cathay 5383 Heavy is 16 nautical miles east of Wollongong at 11,500 feet, requesting flight following to Sydney Kingsford. November 617 Kilo Charlie, proceed on course to Sydney Kingsford. Proceed on course. November 617 Kilo Charlie. Proceed on course. November 300 Kilo November. November 617 Kilo Charlie. Descend and maintain 3000. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Proceed on course to Sydney Kingsford. Proceed on course. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Unable. November 617 Kilo Charlie. Quality 18 Heavy is 13 nautical miles southeast of Sydney Kingsford at 3,300 feet. Requesting Isles approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford. Cathay 5383 Heavy is 18 nautical miles east of Wollongong at 10,500 feet. Requesting Isles approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford. November 306 Mike Delta is 9 nautical miles west of Wilton at 6,500 feet. Requesting Isles approach runway 35 at Canberra. Quality 18 Heavy. Maintain current altitude until established on the localizer. Cleared Isles runway 34 left approach. Quality 18 Heavy. Contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 120.5. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 120.5. Quality 18 Heavy. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Maintain 8000 until established on the localizer. Cleared Isles runway 34 left approach. November 306 Mike Delta. Maintain 5000 until established on the localizer. Cleared GPS runway 35 approach. Maintain current altitude until established on the localizer. Cleared Isles runway 35. November 306 Mike Delta. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Contact Sydney approach on 124.4. Contacting Sydney approach on 124.4. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Cathay 5383 Heavy is 22 nautical miles east of Wollongong at 8,600 feet. Requesting Isles approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Expect vectors for the Isles approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Roger. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Turn left heading 360. Descend and maintain 4000. Turn left heading 360. Descend and maintain 4000. Cathay 5383 Heavy. PH0307. You're in an active airspace. Please contact Sydney approach on 124.4. PH0307 is 7 nautical miles north of Wollongong at 10,500 feet. Requesting Isles approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford. PH0307. Expect vectors for the Isles approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. November 300 Kilo November is 9 nautical miles west of Mittagong at 4,500 feet. Requesting flight following to Canberra. Kilo Lima Mike 327 is 12 nautical miles southwest of Mangrove MT at 7,000 feet. Requesting Isles approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford. PH0307. Turn right heading 070. Descend and maintain 5000. Turn right heading 070. Descend and maintain 5000. PH0307. November 300 Kilo November. Contact Sydney departure on 118.4. Kilo Lima Mike 327. Expect vectors for the Isles approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Roger. Kilo Lima Mike 327. Kilo Lima Mike 327. Turn left heading 110. PH0307 is 8 nautical miles northeast of Wollongong at 10,300 feet. Requesting Isles approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Turn left heading 110. Kilo Lima Mike 327. Turn left heading 200. Lima Hotel 25 Mike Alpha. PH0307. Expect vectors for the Isles approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. November 300 Kilo November is 11 nautical miles west of Mittagong at 4,500 feet. Requesting flight following to Canberra. Lima Hotel 25 Mike Alpha. Request frequency change. PH0307. Turn left heading 060. Descend and maintain 5000. Lima Hotel 25 Mike Alpha. Frequency change approved. Good day. Frequency change approved. Lima Hotel 25 Mike Alpha. Good day. Sydney approach. Qantas 67. With you. Qantas 67. Roger. Cathay 5383 Heavy, requesting descent to 2000. Cathay 5383 Heavy, turn right heading 340, descend and maintain 2000. PH 0307 is 15 nautical miles northeast of Wollongong at 7,700 feet, requesting IELTS approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford. Turn right heading 340, descend and maintain 2000. Cathay 5383 Heavy, Sydney approach, Air China 16, with you. Air China 16 is 18 nautical miles northwest of Canberra at 20,000 feet, requesting IELTS approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford. PH 0307, unable to provide services to this airport at the moment, proceed on course. PH 0307, expect vectors for the IELTS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Air China 16 is 16 nautical miles southwest of Mittagong at 20,000 feet, requesting IELTS approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford. Air China 16, expect vectors for the IELTS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Roger, Air China 16. Cathay 5383 Heavy, descend and maintain 2000. Maintain 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared IELTS runway 34 right approach. Descend and maintain 2000. Maintain 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared IELTS runway 34 right. Cathay 5383 Heavy. November 300 Kilo November is 20 nautical miles west of Mittagong at 4,500 feet, requesting IELTS approach runway 35 at Canberra. Cathay 5383 Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 120.5. November 306 Mike Delta, you're in an active airspace. Please contact Sydney approach on 124.4. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 120.5. Cathay 5383 Heavy. November 306 Mike Delta, departure to the east is approved. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, line up and wait runway 34 left. Qantas 2727, is on final runway 34 left. Quality 18 Heavy, is on final runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 588 Lima Delta, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, remaining in the pattern. Qantas 2727, Roger. November 588 Lima Delta, hold short of runway 34 left. Quality 18 Heavy, Roger. Quality 18 Heavy, Roger. Quality 18 Heavy, Roger. November 617 Kilo Charlie, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 121.7. Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 121.7, November 617 Kilo Charlie. Line up and wait runway 34 left. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, please follow instructions. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, runway 16 right, cleared for immediate takeoff. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, hold short of runway 34 left. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, please follow instructions. Cathay 5383 Heavy, is on final runway 34 left, full stop. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, please follow instructions. Velocity 725, runway 07, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 07, velocity 725. Going around, Qantas 2727. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 588 Lima Delta, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, remaining in the pattern. November 588 Lima Delta, please follow instructions. November 588 Lima Delta, hold short of runway 34 left. Holding short runway 34 left, November 588 Lima Delta. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing north. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 left, Qantas 2727. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, please follow instructions. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, please follow instructions. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy, contact Sydney departure on 118.4. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 588 Lima Delta, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, remaining in the pattern. November 588 Lima Delta. Line up and wait runway 34 left. Line up and wait runway 34 left. November 588 Lima Delta. November 588 Lima Delta. Runway 34 left. Cleared for takeoff. Contacting Sydney departure on 118.4. Papa Romeo Bravo Romeo Juliet Heavy. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 34 left. November 588 Lima Delta. Number 1. Cleared to land. Runway 34 left. Qantas 2727. Sydney Kingsford Tower. November 306 Mike Delta. Inbound on the ILS. Runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Tower. November 306 Mike Delta. Inbound on the ILS. Runway 34 left. November 306 Mike Delta. Number 1. Runway 34 left. Cleared to land. Executing missed approach. November 363 Juliet Romeo. Number 1. Cleared to land. Runway 34 left. November 306 Mike Delta. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Request frequency change. Sydney Kingsford Tower. PH 0307 is 15 nautical miles to the south at 3,800 feet. Inbound for landing. Requesting runway 34 left. Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 121.7. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Sydney Kingsford ground. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Request taxi to parking. Number 1. Cleared to land. Runway 34 left. PH 0307. Qantas 2727. Contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 121.7. Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 121.7. Qantas 2727. November 588 Lima Delta. Contact Sydney departure on 118.4. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 121.7. Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 121.7. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Line up and wait runway 34 left. November 363 Juliet Romeo. Contacting Sydney departure on 118.4. November 588 Lima Delta. Velocity 725. Contact Sydney departure on 118.4. Sydney Kingsford ground. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Request taxi to parking. Sydney Kingsford ground. Cathay 5383 Heavy. Request taxi to parking. Attention all aircraft. Sydney Kingsford Tower is now closed. Good day. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. November 363 Juliet Romeo. Taxiing to runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. November 363 Juliet Romeo. Taxiing to runway 34 left. November 363 Juliet Romeo. Taxiing to runway 34 left. November 363 Juliet Romeo. Taxiing to runway 34 left. Taxiing to runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Unicum. November 363 Juliet Romeo. Taxiing to runway 34 left.